Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. This video is the third part of the Season 3 Zero to Hero series where we start a brand new account and our goal is to get our main to level 250 and to defeat Lotus and Damian all without dying once. The not dying part of this challenge made things a bit trickier and let me slightly over prepare for our boss runs. We are about 40 hours deep into this account and in this video we're not just going over the progression of this account but also the 5 pillars of character growth. MapleStory has a lot of ways to get stronger. To make things simpler, I divided everything into different pillars. There is gear, dailies, notes, Legion of Link skills, and levels. All these systems are there to help you get stronger and some of them feed into each other. Leveling up is pretty self-explanatory and feeds into most of your other progression pillars. So let's start with that one first. Every 5 level ups after level 200 unlocks a new node slot which will allow you to use more 5th job skills. You get more stats, more hyper stats and unlock new dailies and get closer in level range of those endgame bosses. For example, if you want to deal full damage to the whale boss you need to be at least level 250. Where we left off last time, my main character on this account had 85% critical rate, 66% ignore defense and 7.8k main stats. Our inner ability wasn't that helpful as we don't need attack speed, but hey, I rolled that within 500k honor and I was just too stunned to change it. Besides that, I need a little bit more IED stat-wise before we're good for our solo runs against the kills through the abyss bosses. That's gonna be the next step. But since we cannot die, because if I do I have to delete this character, I wanted to make sure that this character can beat up those bosses pretty fast so we have less chances of making mistakes. So first things first, the leveling. I leveled up so I could unlock more symbols, more arcane symbols, shorten my dailies, get more stats, etc, etc. This was filmed during the holidays so I didn't really grind that much. I just did my dailies and maybe trained for like 30 minutes every now and then. When I was grinding, I was at the red dancing shoes and victory plates 3-2 and Lachlan depending on which map had better burning. If you're not sure which maps are better for your character, you can use the battle analysis to figure out which one suits your character the most. When you're playing MapleStory and want to focus on getting stronger, do not forget to do your daily quests in the Arcane River and weekly quests in Scrapyard and Demon Camp for those Abso pieces. The Arcane River dailies give out arcane symbols which are a massive part of your stat increases. Almost half the stats on this character are from those arcane symbols. You can speed up the leveling process of your symbols by making use of events. Those usually get you arcane symbol selector coupons. I use those on any symbol except for the Vanishing Journey and Choo Choo symbol. Those are easiest to level up. I usually pick the ones that I don't like the dailies of, which are usually Arcana, Morass and Esfera, or the Lachlan one if I don't feel like doing Dream Defender all that much. The same goes for your notes, the next big pillar of your character progression. Those you'll find passively while grinding. You can get 3 for free a week from the Vanishing Journey weekly quest. The other ones you mostly get from events. We get a ton of notes from burning, and the current Clover event that is active in MapleStory Global gives out an easy 100 notes per month and a few EXP notes as well. Those are great value by the way, definitely get those. Which notes you need and need to boost first are different for every class. For example, these are the notes that I'm using right now. When I'm mobbing, I'm using this setup, and when I go bossing, I switch out Erda Shower for Erda Nova because I'm playing a class that does not have their own bind. Just from leveling up my boost notes, my main attacking skill already deals over 100% increased final damage. While you don't see the effect of the boost notes in your stats, this is a huge way to increase the damage of your skills. We're basically doubling the damage these skills do this way, which will help you grind more efficiently and boss faster. Another thing that I have particularly been busy with recently with this account is starting up my link skills, the next pillar. I first created the Mercedes, then Evan, then Phantom, then Demon Avenger, then Illuminous, and now I'm working on a Hoyoung. Next I'm going to get a Dawn Warrior to level 200 for the Empress Blessing, and probably get a Kana to level 120 as well. The Evan and Mercedes link skills increase EXP gains in one way or another, Phantom increases critical rate, Demon Avenger increases damage, Luminous' link skill increases ignore defense, and Hoyoung's link skill does a bit of both damage and IED. Besides cubing your weapon, secondary or emblem for things like ignore defense, the easiest way to get more critical rate, ignore defense and boss damage is by simply leveling up link skill characters. For example, a level 120 Phantom link skill gives as much critical rate as 10 levels in the critical rate hyperstat. So you can use those hyper stats elsewhere if you have the Phantom Link skill. Like you can, for example, boost your damage instead of boosting critical rate, or critical damage, even better. Legion is also a great way to get more stats through the grid and character buffs, but Legion is a slower grind than Link skills. Early on, the Legion grid will not give out that many bonuses until you get more characters and unlock more of the grid. This is a long grind and I recommend you only start if you find it fun to just level up these characters. Don't burn yourself out on Legion right away from the beginning. Link skills give generally way bigger boosts. Another example is that the level 70 Luminous Link skill gives as much IED as 2 level 200 characters that give IED for the Legion effect. And while of course those are still great to get, your time is best spent focusing on your Link skills first, unless if you're going for critical damage, then Legion is the biggest booster there. And then there is the final pillar already, which is gear. This is actually pretty easy up until this point. Last video I upgraded my secondary and emblem. Because I wasn't playing that much, I also didn't grind for mesos, and upgrading most of our other gear was out of the question. So first you go for your emblem and your secondary, assuming you're using the Absolute weapon from the Burning event. For the Chaos Root Abyss bosses that we plan to defeat, you don't need to do that much either. Just get most of your items to epic and 6% of your main stat on every item. That's what I did. Actually, plenty of my items are still rare and we got plenty of stats. Thanks to the level 5 symbols, you'll be having no issue getting a lot of flat stats from just that. I usually get epic potential scrolls from the Legion store and from the event stores, and sometimes from those Polo and Frito pouches. After getting okay stats for where we are right now on the emblem and secondary, getting more main stat was still our first goal. Usually for the emblem and secondary you want to go for attack and magic attack, or IED for example. But since we didn't have that many cubes, we had to settle for a bit less. Your first goal should always be to get strong enough to one-shot monsters that you want to train on. So I did not focus on meso gear yet either. I first wanted to get my gloves, shoes, cape, etc. to epic, so I could roll 6% of my main stat. Then I would start focusing on the rings, earrings and the face and eye accessories for meso and drop lines. Getting stronger also helps us take on these bosses without dying, and boss crystals give a ton of mesos as well. Getting more stats is not only beneficial for grinding faster, but also for tackling higher level bosses. I also got potential stamps from the event store when I needed any, and boy did we need a lot of those. And so I was around 11k stats, and it was time to put all this hard work to the test. This is way too many stats for the Chaos Root Abyss bosses, by the way. If you want to run these bosses solo, you can start attempting them pretty easily, around 7k stats, depending on your Legion and Link skills and how well you know the boss mechanics, of course. But with our new links, symbols and improved gear and notes, it was a walk in the park. We're not allowed to die, so as a precaution I did ask my fiancée to door me on her bishop so that if I died, instead the door debuff would go away and I wouldn't lose a life. And it's a good thing that we did that though, because we had one unfortunate accident with Pierre where I got stuck in a hat and he was in his red form. And one time Queen seduced me and my cat walked over my keyboard and locked me off right before I died. I hate it when it happens. Queen was fun though, with her damage over time debuff and then zombify debuff, but we managed to power through, thanks to Hero's Will there as well. And with 0 deaths, all bosses were defeated live on Twitch. Funny enough, with Chaos Vellum and Chaos Von Bon, we didn't even lose our door debuff, we just had 0 accidents there. Pierre and Queen really are the true menaces of Root Abyss. And so we got our permanent Fafnir gear that's going to replace the event Root Abyss gear that we have right now. I also got some flames from the event store and rolled some really nice bonus stats on my hat with our first flame. The other 2 pieces need a bit more before I can replace them. Our next goal is saving up enough mesos, grinding in more so we can start Starforcing our gear. Of course, cube our gear for meso gear. I haven't done Starforcing yet because this isn't needed for our first goal of defeating Root Abyss, and we didn't have any spares either, so it would be way too risky. We're better off using our funds anyway to get some meso gear first, and then get some more mesos while grinding, and then use that for Starforcing. When you are planning to Starforce, make sure to check out the Sunny Sunday schedule, as I recommend saving up and then Starforcing when there is either a 5, 10, 15 Starforce event or a 30% discount Starforce Sunny Sunday going on. Else, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you really need some stats fast. I did attempt to actually get meso gear right after we defeated the Root Abyss bosses, selling the boss crystals, getting the mesos. We bought some red cubes from the cash shop and I was trying to get my event ring to legendary, but sadly we didn't get it to even rank up. It's still stuck at unique. I did roll 3% more stats, so there is that at least. But since we can one-shot monsters that we are grinding at right now, meso gear is definitely our next goal. And of course we just need to get stronger as well, higher leveled and complete more quests so we're able to defeat Lotus and Damian relatively soon. Besides those 5 pillars, there are a few other minor things you can do as well. For example, I found an IED familiar that I was using during the boss fights, and I created another page of hyper stats, so I have 1 page for bossing and 1 page for mobbing. And that's all for today on the Zero to Hero account. Is there anything else you'd like to see or like to know? Make sure to let me know in the comments, and as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian, Hanoy, Ryalias, Kim, Vareese, Mora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Ziggy Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Gussus Rodriguez, Digby, Vira, Trevor, Michael Menchaca, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Afterlord _MS, Striker Elk, Tidal 1 Pun, Radical Jaws, Riser RU, Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, PC Game Life, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, Conrad Crystallis, Ace Light, Mr. Narc, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brandon Cam, Vake Botnet, Vecco, Victor Sundstrom, ceemak, Only, Rashid Alarudi, Gerlando Balavia, Gianfranco Calderon Canavero, Lucky Beats, Mathieu Def, Gummy Bullet, Lord Fazil, Spats D. Kaiser, Zunnen, That Archie Guy, Grogro, Grable Egg, and Louis Bento Brandau. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and as always, happy mapling.